Hi, friends. Welcome to the Happy on Purpose podcast. And Chris and I are together again.
Yes, I'm so excited to be together. High
Yeah, we just
five.
high fived. He's my best friend.
But
I
too.
love it.
Cross.
Today, we are talking about something that we all do because we are human. Chris, have you ever screwed up?
Yes, all the time. Every day. All the time.
I screw things up so bad.
Yeah.
Even after 25 years in business, I still screw up. We screw up all the time.
Yeah.
So what do we do when we screw up? So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you have ever screwed up, this is an episode that you are going to want to listen to. I have a framework.
All right. The framework.
You know
It's in the
me.
frame.
I like the frameworks. It just helps me remember,
That's me too.
right? Okay, so it's called recover. Isn't that a good word?
Yes, recovery.
I know. Right? Okay, so recover. 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 When we screw up, we start with the R. The R is recognize and acknowledge.
Right.
Like you have to own it and you have to do it fast.
That's right.
Fast with your customers or with your clients. I had a situation where I literally, and this is a minor screw up, but still, I totally got the date wrong on a meeting, an important meeting, like a meeting that we've been trying to schedule for probably 45 days because my schedule is so filled up.
Sure.
And yeah, and I just didn't show up.
How'd you feel?
I felt horrible. I felt horrible and it's a lost opportunity. And so as soon as I got the text, like, where are you? I was like, oh my God. I was so embarrassed, mortified, but I had to quickly flip that switch because it's not about me. I was embarrassed and mortified, and I did let them know that, but I wasted their time. And their time is valuable.
Very valuable.
Yeah. So you have to really admit that, not just say, I'm embarrassed and I'm sorry, but you also have to say, look, I recognize that I just wasted your time and I value people's time. That was not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
We'll go on.
Yeah, I want to hear. That's horrible.
It is horrible. And it is not the worst thing I've ever done. Let me tell you. All right. So the R is recognize and acknowledge, and the key is fast, right? The next step is E, evaluate the impact of it. But guess what? You got to at least play along with me. You don't get to decide the impact.
I know, your customer does.
Your customer does. Yeah. And when we look at the impact of things, we tend to look at it just from our perspective. And from our perspective, it's like, oh, I'll just give them a refund.
Right.
That is not good enough. That's the bare minimum. So they get to evaluate the impact, and the impact from their perspective is way higher than you will ever imagine.
Oh, no, that's true.
You have to go way above and beyond. So first of all, you have to ask them and acknowledge, I know that this wasted your time. And I am so sorry about that. And then get them to express and agree, get a feel. Okay. Next one is communicate clearly.
Communicate how sorry you are, or
Yeah, you have to
acknowledge it?
apologize. But here's the thing. And I actually learned this from Alex Hormozzi's podcast. And I've heard him talk about it a few times. Like, you have to be angrier about the screw up than your customer. Like, you have to own more anger. And it sets up a couple things. It lets the client feel like, yeah, okay, I not only empathize, but I'm going to fix it. I'm never going to let it happen again. And it also gives the customer the opportunity to say, whoa, okay, you're angrier than me. It's not that bad.
Right.
You didn't say it, the customer said.
Right.
So it puts you in the position now where you have control. You're angrier than they are. You have the control to fix it, make it better, resolve the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the O, offer a solution.
Mm-hmm.
As business owners, our natural inclination is to just offer the refunds, but that doesn't even bring it up to neutral.
Right.
That's the bare expectation.
Exactly.
And they're still ticked off.
Exactly.
And so what do you do beyond that?
I think you would basically offer suggestions and say, I know a refund probably isn't the best. I'm recognizing what's going on. This is what I'm going to do to make the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to go over and above and offer more. Do more things. Like, do more things in an extreme kind of way over the top.
Show up at their door.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
you know
Knock,
what?
knock, it's me, I'm sorry.
It's funny you said that because in Alex Hormozzi's last podcast, he was giving an example. Like I guess he and his wife and some people stayed at the Ritz-Carlton down in Florida, and it had a Michelin star restaurant in it. And they had a really bad experience in this restaurant, and it was
Mm,
in the Ritz, right? So the Ritz isn't really responsible for the restaurant,
right,
right?
right,
The restaurant's a separate entity, but it's in the Ritz.
right.
So they just, you know, complained to the manager of the hotel, and the manager not only paid for the entire meal, which again is the bare minimum,
Mhm.
and his party would still be really ticked off about it. But he went over and above. He upgraded the entire party's rooms at the Ritz. There were like 8 of them,
Wow.
and made reservations. I hope I get this right, but it made reservations at 2 other restaurants for 2 subsequent nights, showed up at those restaurants personally and ensured they were sat at the best tables, and personally brought out their appetizers and drinks to get the evening started.
Wow. That's
Are
pretty cool.
you freaking
That's
kidding me?
awesome. Wow.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the way to
Like,
do it.
that's
Above
the
and beyond.
thing. Yeah.
And so now
Heck
Alex
yes.
promotes him and
Now he
so
promotes him.
yeah, there you go.
Now
That's
he's a
smart.
raving fan.
That's
He had a
smart.
horrible experience, and now he's talking about him on his podcast.
That's great.
That's setting up what I forget what book it's in, like a magic moment for the customer. Gosh darn it. I will think of the name of the book. You know what? If I don't think of it before this podcast is over, I will put it in the show notes
Okay,
because
perfect.
there's a book written by 2 guys where they talk about magic moments. We'll continue.
Okay.
All right. So recover. So we were on the O, so offering a solution, but not just the refund, not just the bringing it back up to neutral, but like going
Above
way over the top. So that's how you have the opportunity to create a raving fan.
mhm.
It may not ultimately create a raving fan. That gives you the opportunity to do,
Right.
right? Next one is V, which is verify satisfaction. So, in other words, don't just stop there. Continue to reach out to the customer, make sure everything's good, do everything you can. Like, again, and this is a lesson. Like, in 25 years of business, I have screwed up so much. And I wish I would have had this framework. Like, I even screwed up
Yes.
screwed up yesterday, but like I even screwed up like last week
Ah,
on a client. And
happens.
it does happen because we're human and we work with humans that way. Just to that note, too, we work with humans. When an employee screws up, it's still on the business owner. The
Right.
business owner still has to be the person who does this. And then to flip it, if you're the employee, you need to do this
Right,
with the
right.
business owner too.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, that's the thing about being in business. You get the rewards, but you have to deal with this stuff.
Exactly. Mhm.
This is our job.
Own it.
You gotta own it. Okay. And then E, ensure prevention in the future. And this is hard. If it's part of your processes and mechanics in the business, sometimes you have to change things
The change of
to,
mhm,
yeah, and then reflect.
mhm.
We always reflect.
Well,
Reflect on what happened, reflect on what you did, reflect on the outcome. And if it wasn't the outcome that you actually wanted as a result, then act to make some changes
right,
so it
exactly.
really doesn't happen again.
I like that framework.
Do you?
Oh, that's really good. Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. It's a great recovery. It's a
Mm,
great way to recover.
yeah.
It's a great
So,
framework. Recover.
yeah. So,
I've made lots of mistakes too. And I think when we make the mistake, yes, we get upset and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did it. But you don't want to stay in that state. You don't be like, oh, I'm such a failure. I'm a loser. I have an alarm clock and I messed up and I missed that meeting. You don't want to stay in that. Just stay in that just for a little bit, enough to recognize and acknowledge and move forward back and say, that was the old thing. Now it's new. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my systems and all that. And then you obviously reflect.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm really glad you brought that side up because the framework talks about how to really deal with the issue with the customer. But as humans, business, we also have to give ourselves grace. We still have to do this to fix the issue with the customer so that you
Right.
don't get that 1-star review or whatever it is, or if you did
Right.
get one, and hopefully it will compel them to go change it. But we also have to give ourselves grace because we do screw up and we work with humans who also screw up.
Exactly.
And it's just part of life.
And we're humans.
We are. And you know what? I think I put out there too, and this is just my take on things, and I want to hear yours. I hesitate to give bad reviews. Like I go places, I have bad experiences, and it takes a lot for me to give a bad review, and a lot. Like I don't even remember the last time I gave a bad review. And the reason why is because I know people are humans as well. And I might not go back to the place for a while. I just don't go out there and do that. First of all, it's bad juju. I don't wanna put bad juju out there because 'cause I'm also a business owner,
Right, right.
and I feel like there's this whole reciprocal thing in the universe, but I am very proactive about giving great reviews.
Me too, me too. And on the bad reviews, I'll tell you a story. I was in Florida 2 months ago and went to pick up a rental car. I went online and reserved the rental car, and it was like the cheapest one. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm getting a good deal."
Mhm.
Flight came in late. I get to the place, and it was a whole bunch of crazy stuff to get the car. And I ended up leaving that location, catching the Uber, and going to get another rental car place. And I was like, "I'm gonna write a bad review, and I'm gonna do all this stuff." And then I didn't write a review because I didn't wanna go back and revisit that moment. I was upset. All I said is, "I will never do that again." And it was my own fault for trying to pick the best, the cheapest, the fastest. It wasn't great. And I just don't like to stay in that. So definitely don't write a review because it wasn't the girl's fault. She was just trying to follow the policy of what was given to her. And so you just don't stay in that season. Don't stay in. Just I always try to do good reviews when I can.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, no
That's
problem.
important. I know this wasn't an episode about reviews, but things like this ultimately lead to bad reviews,
Right, right.
and I just hate bad energy.
No, I know it's horrible. And
Yeah,
exactly. It's horrible. So you focus on the bad thing. Yeah, it was great that you got the meeting with that person. It's unfortunate that you missed the 45 minute. You have another meeting with that person, and it's gonna
yeah.
be better.
Yeah, yeah. We worked it out,
Well,
but, it was because I followed this framework and again, that's a minor mistake
okay.
compared to some
And we're
bad
all making
things.
mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, means you're not doing something. So you gotta be doing something, mistakes.
Yeah,
So that's a sign that
yeah,
you're doing something.
yeah.
Time zones and all that stuff changing with the calendars. That's a s
I know,
no, I don't like.
I know, and this actually did happen to involve a meeting with people in 2 different time zones from me.
Yeah, it
So, it
happens.
was just
So it's I don't wanna say that name, but Google fix your calendar. No, I'm teasing.
I know, right? Okay, you know what? I just have to say this because it's on my brain, and it's funny as hell. Because 'cause I'm seeing myself and if you're listening on the podcast and you don't have the video, it's fine. My hair is insane today.
Oh,
It's like crazy.
too.
It's like frizzy and red, and it's raining here,
Right.
and it goes crazy. But somebody on my YouTube, and it wasn't on one of our podcast videos, it was on one of my business videos.
Okay.
They said, "Nice haircut, bozo." Like,
Wow.
oh
How did you
my
feel when they said that?
I just first of all, I'm like, "That is so friggin' rude." I'm like, "My hair is red." And that's about it.
But that's
I just moved on.
yeah,
I just moved on. It's
yeah.
fine. What's the point of that?
You're always gonna have someone that's gonna say something, and
I
you
know,
know what? I think for every one comment, there's 100 ones that are better. So I think your
right?
hair is beautiful. I think it's great. From someone who doesn't have hair, your hair is beautiful.
Thanks, Chris. All right,
I look
guys.
like the yourself.
What to do when you screw up, you recover. The framework will be in the show notes, and I'll link it to a blog post that outlines all the details. I hope you have an amazing day.
And stay happy
And
on purpose.
yeah, let's go live life happy on purpose.
That's right. Have a good one,
Okay.
guys.
Bye, guys.